In today's video, I'll be playing the Double Evolution Tournament using the Evolved Knight and the Evolved Archers in this E-Giant deck. I think this is one of the best decks in the tournament because the person I got this deck off of was undefeated in the top 10, so I think that proves how strong it is. He was 28-0 at the time that I got this deck off of him. So we're going to go for the Evolved Knight here, and something worth noting is the Evolved Bomber that just came out isn't actually available to be played in this tournament. Now, if it was, it probably would be a good evolution to use because it is one of the most broken Evos in the game right now. But because it's not available to be played in this tournament, I believe the Evolved Archers and the Evolved Knight is probably the best two evolutions, and they happen to combo very well together inside of this Electro Giant deck. Now, as you would expect, first game in the tournament here, and this is already looking very good for us. This guy wasted a ton of elixir early on, not really sure what he's doing or what deck he's playing, but we're going to try to capitalize off of that as best as we can. We're going to NATO that into the Electro Giant circle, so that way all of those support cards get taken out, the Archers and the Ewiz, and just like that, E-Giant is on top of the tower with the Guardian coming in on the back end as well, and just like that, it's pretty much already game one here in our first match, but we still have a long way to go because I'm going to try to get to 15 wins, which unlocks all the rewards, which is why in the title I said this is a walkthrough, so you guys can see tons of different matches with this deck, so you kind of get a good feel, a good sense of how to use it, so you guys can make it far in the tournament yourself. And also, this deck is probably going to be pretty good on ladder as well if you happen to have these evolutions leveled up, because obviously I know not everyone, especially the free-to-play players, has all the evolutions because of the two Evos being on ladder. For some players, it's not going to be that ideal because you need to be level 15. But you also, in Grand Challenges, of course, have the two Evos to play as well. So if you're looking for a good deck to play Grand Challenges with, this is also going to be one that's good in Challenges and Classic Challenges. I said Grand, but Classics as well. And just in general now, these double Evo tournaments are very good to play and practice in now that there is, in fact, it's just they're going to be two Evos permanently now, basically, in this game, as far as I know. And a lot of people kind of called it. I saw when there was the first and second Double Evolution tournament, I knew, okay, well, that's probably a pretty good sign that they're highly considering just putting it in the game altogether. And I think part of the reason they did that was because so many people enjoyed playing these Double Evo tournaments. There was a lot of positive feedback about the tournaments, but I think a lot of those people didn't want to see it on ladder. But Supercell saw, okay, well, people are having fun playing the tournament. Then they thought, okay, well, that means it's going to be a good addition to ladder. I don't know, so you guys can let me know what you think about two Evos being in the game. I know a lot of people do think it's very fun, it's a good addition, but I do know a lot of those people who say that are level 15. And because ladder's the main game mode, I know that not everyone is going to have access to it, but decided to talk a little bit about that in the first match just because it was such a easy win anyway. I feel like it didn't really make sense to focus and commentate a ton on the gameplay while we were completely annihilating that guy basically from the start here. So we're going to go for a Barb Barrel here. He went for the Goblin Barrel first play. Kind of unfortunate I didn't have a NATO in rotation. This is a very, very good defensive deck. What I really like about this deck is it's so solid on defense because you have the Knight, and then of course when you get to that Evolve one, that's even better on defense, but then you have the Cannon, which is one of the best buildings in the game right now, as well as the Tornado. You kind of just have everything you need to defend, no matter what you're playing against. I mean, if you're playing against a cycle deck like Hog, you got a NATO in a building, and in this case, this guy's got the Barb Barrel, so if you're against Bait, or got the Gun Barrel, excuse me, so if you're against Bait, you have the Barb Barrel for that, so you're kind of chilling. So I'm just going to go ahead and E-Giant in the back. We got the King activated. He kind of wasted some elixir. I mean, the Firecracker got some chip damage, but at the end of the day, I'll take that, especially having the King activated, which is going to help us out through the duration of this whole match, I'm sure. So recruits come in here. They are going to be a super solid Evo to use in this as well, if you do want to consider using them. If you do choose to, you're probably going to want to play them with either the Evolved Archers or the Evolved Bats. The Evo Knight isn't going to fit that well with the recruits, but of course in our deck, we're opting to use the Electro Giant, which is one of the strongest win conditions in the game right now. So let's see how we do in this matchup here. He does have the Bomb Tower, which is a good building, of course, against the E-Giant, but I do have a Lightning. That's why you have the Lightning in the deck, to help you break through buildings, because there are a lot of people right now using, of course, the Bomb Tower and the cannon, stuff like that. And even if they don't have a building, you can still get a lot of value out of the Lightning in a lot of different matchups. So it's just kind of a nice spell to have, especially with the Archer Queen and Little Prince being very good. The Lightning is going to be a great tool for taking them out, because Fireball, of course, doesn't take out either one of those, and they're very prevalent in the meta. So we didn't have that good of a start, but the nice thing is this E-Giant is going to do so much damage, I'm pretty sure. And in the process, it's also going to help whittle down those recruits. So let's get a cannon going here, and I think we're going to be okay. The only thing is we do got to watch out for that Evolve Firecracker. Boom, we get that Knight down in time. Let's NATO her in. We really want to take her out if possible. That's kind of annoying. He went for that Knight to block. That was actually a good play on his end. We're still losing here, so we got to focus up here and be careful. I definitely think we can win. Just a little bit of a not super optimal situation, but now that I know what he's using, I'm not too worried. I very much so think we can come back without too much trouble. I'm actually going to save my my Bard Barrel here, just because we have the King activated, and I primarily want to save it for that Firecracker, because she is a nuisance to deal with, as I'm sure you guys have saw. So really just wanted to get her taken out. And then we're going to go for a Lightning here to get rid of this Bomb Tower as quick as we possibly can. And this might give us back the lead if this E-Giant gets some chip damage, because the Archer's locked on the tower as well. And oh my, that was a lot of damage we got. That was actually more than I expected to get right there. So I think once again, we're just going to go E-Giant in the back. And we got to watch out. Yep, I was going to say for that Firecracker. Let's get a Bard Barrel going on top of her. I don't know if it's going to lock on the Firecracker or the recruits. Yeah, it didn't. That's unfortunate. But because the Firecracker is not evolved, we're actually completely fine here. We don't have to worry all that much. And this Evo Archer should come in. Okay, wait. Why is that Firecracker still alive? Hello? Why is that Firecracker still alive? Goodness gracious. Let's NATO this in. Get that taken out as soon as possible. There we go. We are fine. And we'll go for a Lightning here. And this should be game. Honestly, a lot closer than I anticipated. I definitely didn't play that perfectly, though. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind. I played it fairly well, but he played a bit better, and it was closer than I anticipated this match to be at obviously only one win. But still, you shouldn't underestimate anyone. But still, close game. Most of the time, though, you should be okay when you're against Firecracker decks, because if it's something like Hog Firecracker, it's going to be relatively easy because your NATO is going to be getting a lot of value, and you have the cannon for the Hog Rider. Whereas in that matchup, he didn't even really have a win condition, which in a way was kind of a bad thing, because my cannon isn't really getting as much value as it otherwise would have if he had something like, well, here we go, like a Hog, right? Because then I just, boom, can go in for the cannon, and then we get a free King activation. There we go. So already a fantastic start. So there we go. That's kind of exactly what I was talking about, because my cannon really wasn't doing a whole awful lot that match, except cycling it on the recruits. But that was kind of besides that, not really. So we're just going to cycle our archers here. The next time we play them, we'll have them evolved. Same with the knight, which I'm probably going to play right now. Same lane as that giant skeleton. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Sudu wants to do. And we'll probably get a little prince in the middle. It'll probably be a nice way to DPS it down. He's going to go for the Inferno Drag. So what I could actually do is go for my my E-Giant here, because it's going to be a nice way of defending the Inferno Drag, as well as I can Bard Barrel that Firecracker. And now this could potentially be really tricky for him to deal with. To make things annoying, I could actually send the... Yeah, I think I am going to send the Guardian in the other lane, actually, because he just played that Goblin Gang, and he used his Lumberjack, so he might not have a lot. Okay, he's got a Skarmy. That's pretty unfortunate. I didn't know he had that, to be fair, because, well, obviously, he's got a Goblin Gang, so there's really no way I could have predicted that he's going to have a Skarmy in the deck as well, so kind of an off-meta deck on his end, to be fair. He's probably going to... I was going to say go Giant Skelly, but he actually goes for a Valk. Alright, well, as this game goes on more and more, the deck is becoming more and more interesting, to say the least. So, I'm going to get a cannon going here on top of that Firecracker, and, yeah, that was okay defense. I guess that works. Alright, well, at least I know what he's using now. No more surprises. I know he's got a Goblin Gang. I know he's got a Skarmy. Very strange deck, to be fair. So the nice thing is he doesn't have any good counter to the E-Giant. At least it seems that way. So we do have that going for us. I mean, the Inferno Drag, but that's not really a good counter because I can just NATO it in, obviously. So there we go. That's pretty much going to be tower down. I think no matter what he does, there's no way he's going to stop that. That's the nice thing about E-Giant sometimes. It's in many cases just unstoppable when the other person doesn't have the right cycle. He kind of the only way of him stopping that is with his Giant Skelly, but the problem was he cycled it in the left. Even with the Giant Skelly, though, he needs something else, but Giant Skelly plus Firecracker is probably a fairly suitable counter, but that's such a massive commitment, and he needs the cycle for it, so it's pretty hard for him. That's going to be GG. He's got the Evolve Valk. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, guys, Evolve Valk, obviously you can run what you want in this tournament, but Evolve Valk is probably going to be one of the worst Evos you can run, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And I guess I'll throw this in now. If you guys are enjoying the video, consider subscribing. I try to upload, content as frequent as I can, almost daily, and trying to make it a goal if I can to get 200,000 subs by the end of the year. That would be pretty cool. Don't know if it's possible, but I'll do my best to put out the best content I possibly can. So this guy's got a bowler. I'm just going to go for a cannon here. That should be decent. So if he's got archers and bowler, it's making me think he could be using something similar. Like he could have E-Giant, or I was going to say Giant Graveyard. So Giant Graveyard. The nice thing is he's going to have almost no good counter to my Electro Giant. The bad news is, though, is he does have arrows, most likely, which is, of course, going to be a counter to pretty much my only graveyard counter. I went for a lightning there, mostly because I didn't really have a great way of dealing with... Alright, I'm going to let those archers connect. I didn't really have a great way of dealing with that little prince, but I'm starting to think maybe that wasn't the best play I could have made. It's alright, though. I think we're still chilling. We know what he has now. And I could actually go E-Giant at the bridge, depending on... Let's actually just go ahead and do it and see what he does. He's going to go for the little... Oh, wow, he just misplayed it. Okay, well, that's huge for us. I'm actually going to go archers to DPS down the bowler. And then he is going to, wow, use... So that's interesting. Instead of committing Elixir to help defending the E-Giant, he decided to use the ability, which actually was fantastic for us, because it's going to do essentially nothing for him. He gets no damage, and now he has no counter push as well. Well, I guess he can go for the Giant, but we just get a cannon set up, go for a Barb Barrel, and we're chilling here. So that's perfect. It's going to be some nice, easy defense there for us. And, yeah, now we're in a great situation. I could even just go E-Giant again. This is just going to ensure we take the tower. And then let's go for our Evo Archers just to snipe his. And that is definitely going to be tower down, even with those Evo Archers. It is not going to matter. So now, all we got to do is defend the remainder of the game, and we're walking away with a fairly easy win here, I would say. We are going to want to NATO those bats just to make sure they die. That could have been pretty bad if they healed up. That's the one thing you got to be cautious of. You are running a pretty expensive deck, so even though Evo Bats, I know some people think they're not that good, but if you don't have the proper spell in cycle, they can give you a really rough time. So, like, if your NATO isn't in cycle and you don't immediately NATO them, they can be a pretty big threat. I would say actually one of the only spells that is very good against them are arrows, because even when they're completely healed up, the arrows are going to kill them. Whereas stuff like Zap and Snowball, if you don't have them in cycle and you're not quick enough, it's not going to deal with those Evo Bats. So I really think in a way the Evo Bats are a little bit underrated, and especially with there being 2 evolutions in the game now, they are something you're going to have to be cautious of, because they pair well with the Evo Recruits. You could use them with the Evo Archers. You could use them with the Evolved Knight, even the Evolved Mortar. So they pair well. That's the thing, because they're cheap, they pair well with majority of the evolutions in the game. Whereas some of the other Evos that are more expensive are not going to pair the best with every single Evo in the game. Like, for example, the Recruits, or the Barbarians, maybe, for example. So this guy does have a Musketeer and a Knight. That doesn't really tell me an awful lot yet about what he's using. That E-Giant was probably pretty bad, but it's okay. At least the Little Prince did stay alive, so I do have that going for me. But in general, I think it wasn't... Actually, it might end up being a good play, because it doesn't look like he has a good counter to the E-Giant. Let's go! Alright, I kind of screwed him over by getting lucky. What I mean by that is I didn't even know what deck he was using. So, in a way, I did kind of take a risk there, because imagine if he had a... well, actually, to be fair, even if he had a P.E.K.K.A., the outcome wouldn't have been the same, but I would have been okay. And part of it is because your defense is just so strong. I mean, even when you are going really aggressive early on, you can just go for the cannon, and you can defend so much with it. So, really, do not underestimate the cannon-NATO combination on defense. Now, I was thinking about going for lightning on that, but I think instead I'm just going to go Little Prince, because what I could do is I could just go E-Giant right on top of the Witch, and that's going to counter it quite nicely. So let's just go ahead and do that, see what he wants to do from there. He's going to go Little Prince in the back. Well, I could NATO that in, potentially. Or I could just chill and see what he wants to do. He's going to use the... Yeah, actually, I don't even need to NATO that in. I mean, maybe if I did, it would have... And once again, we got someone using the Evolve... So the Evolve Valk, Evolve Knight in the same deck. I would not recommend doing that. The reason why I mostly think the Evolve Valk is pointless in playing... I'm not even saying the Evolve Valk is bad. The main problem is the Evolve Knight is just so broken. So there's just no reason to use the Evolve Valkyrie. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. It's just the Evo Knight in almost every situation is going to be better because it's just one less elixir and for the most part does the same thing. And especially in my case, when you already have the NATO in your deck, you don't really need to have the Evolve Valk in your deck. It just doesn't really fit. So we're going to go for a Knight here. We're going to Lightning all that, and that's going to be easy peasy defense. Even if he did end up going in for the arrows, it would have been miles too late. And yeah, he pretty much had no chance of breaking through. To be fair, though, it seems like he doesn't even have a win condition in his deck. It's just a bunch of support cards together. Because a lot of people think, for some reason, that the Mega Knight is a win condition. But in reality, it is not a win condition at all. In fact, it is very unlikely to get to the tower when you're playing against someone that knows how to defend properly. That's why if you are using the Mega Knight, you typically want to use it with, you know, Wall Breakers, Ram Rider, or even the Hog Rider, at least something, at least some type of win condition. So we're against Jeffrey here. This guy actually has a Grand Challenge badge, so pretty decent player. So we, probably the best person we've played against so far, that's for sure. He's going to have a Mortar. So let's get a Knight down, and he's going to go an Archer Queen. So let's actually get a Lightning on that. That's a pretty valuable Lightning, I would say. I could have, though, instead of going for the Lightning, gone for the E-Giant, because then his Mortar would have actually been out of rotation. So that's actually something I could have done instead. Now that I'm thinking about it, it probably would have been just as good. It's just the Mortar would have gotten a little bit of damage on my tower, but it might have been for the greater good, because the E-Giant would have been obnoxious for him. Now, the question is he using Hog or Miner? And he is using the Miner. So he just committed a lot of Elixir there, because he just went for Miner and Poison, so I think it's very safe to go for an E-Giant in the back right now. We're obviously up a decent amount of Elixir, because he just committed 7, and all I played was the Little Prince. So we're going to try to NATO this Archer Queen in. Doesn't even matter that he tried to do a... Oh, wow, he's got... Okay, this is maybe going to be a little tricky, because he's got Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Mortar, so he has 2... solid counters to the E-Giant. The Lightning is definitely going to be the MVP in this match, because the Lightning is also going to be good against the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Like, if there's a Mortar Mini P.E.K.K.A. together, that's a Lightning. If there's an Archer Queen next to the Mortar, or Archer Queen next to the Mini P.E.K.K.A., that's a Lightning. So I do have a lot of options as far as my Lightning goes, which is good. We're going to play our Little Princes high up when he has Poison in cycle, if at all possible, because it doesn't make sense to just let him poison the tower. That's just doesn't make sense to do that. I don't know if that was the correct play. I think it was alright. Actually, I'm just going to go Cannon. It's just going to help take everything out, including the Mortar, so I think it's worth it. Yeah, I would certainly say so. Okay, so we do have our Evo Knight ready to go. Let's just go ahead and play that, and let's see what he wants to do here. This has been a pretty interesting game so far. Maybe go Little Prince high up. Oh, wow, Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go E-Giant in the opposite lane here. And let's see what he does. Maybe pop this. Maybe go Cannon. Okay, that was pretty nicely defended. Maybe our E-Giant gets a little bit of damage here. A little bit. Okay. I'll take it. It's hard to get damage in this matchup, to be fair. Maybe get an E-Giant going in the back. Oh, wow. If that got a hit, that would have been really tragic. Really glad that didn't happen. Alright, that was a pretty good sequence for us over there. Why does he have arrows? What the heck? So this guy actually has a ton of counters to what we're using, when you think about it. It's like we have counters to him, but he has like a ton of counters to what I'm using. It's a bit crazy, in a way. Okay, so he does cycle his... Alright, let's see. Hopefully those get dealt with. Yeah, we're fine. Alright, we get our Evo Knight in tanking for everything. I didn't get my elixir back. That's okay, though. We're going to get a lightning here. Boom. And he played his Evo Mortar too late. So that's a big W. He was trying to get greedy with that tower damage, but I think it would have been better for him to play the Evo Mortar a little bit higher up. Or, excuse me, lower. Or, sorry, what am I trying to say? Oh, wow, that was interesting. I don't know what just happened there. It got, like, pushed, I guess. So that's going to be a nice lightning for us. Oh, wow, it still clipped the mortar last second. That's brutal for him. So, yeah, this is going to be GG at this point. Probably not, like, too bad of a matchup. I mean, we both had good counters to each other, but at the end of the day, I think, especially as this match goes on, I think it's just, he kind of gets overwhelmed pretty easily, to be fair. I'm going to NATO that in, just go for a lightning. He's trying to avoid it, but, the lightning value, but it's pretty unavoidable, and I actually think that's why this matchup may not actually be. Are we going to get the lightning down in time so we don't have to wait and waste a few seconds? Yes, we do. We don't have to let the overtime kick in and, waste a few seconds of time. Not like it matters, but, I guess, it's the small things in life to be happy about, right? Alright, well, we're 6-0 here, so let's see if we can get to the 15 wins, which is the goal of the video, undefeated. That would be great, of course. So he's going to go for the archers. He decided to just play them just kind of in a weird position. He didn't even bother splitting them. Let's see if we can actually get the King Tower activated here, and I think we are in fact going to do that. Yeah, that was a fantastic start for us. He decided to be extremely aggressive, did not pay off for him whatsoever. In fact, kind of hurt him. Wasn't neutral. It ended up being just overall just a bad thing. I mean, the Dark Goblin got chip damage, but I don't think that really matters all that much. So yeah, the cannon, the NATO are going to be very good against the balloon, so that's really good. Let's see what he does here. He's going to go Executioner. I'm just going to go E-Giant at the bridge in the other lane, because I really want to see, like, okay, he's got a mini P.E.K.K.A. Well, so kind of like the last opponent, he actually does have a fairly good answer to the E-Giant. It's not like the best counter to it, but it's pretty good against it. It's like probably one level below a building. Like, you're better off having a building, but it's still not bad. So he's got the Evo Bats. So that means he's not going to have the recruits. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe it's good, because I guess I'd probably prefer playing against Evo Bats over the recruits. We're just going to cannon here. I don't even think I need to use a NATO, which is good, because it means, he was so aggressive there. I'm almost tempted to go in here. Kind of an interesting push, but I feel like he's just going to have a hard time dealing with it. He goes in for the Evo Archers, but look at that. Our Evo Knights in front, and that's where the beauty of the Evo Archers, Evo Knight combo comes in. When you have both of them together, it's so obnoxious to deal with sometimes, and that really showed that. So we're going to set up a cannon here, just like prepping our defense. And this guy is just going aggressive after aggressive push. He's, I mean, to be fair, I don't know what he's supposed to do, because he doesn't really, I mean, even though he's got the mini P.E.K.K.A. and the XE, I wouldn't really consider his deck that defensive. because he doesn't have a building. So to be fair, I don't know what he's supposed to do except be aggressive constantly. So I guess I'll just cannon, and okay, of course he's got a Mega Knight as well. That was unexpected, but kind of expected at the same time, to be fair, if that makes sense, because it's like, it always seems like Mega Knight is in a deck that you don't expect. So what I'm trying to say is, like, it's expected, but it's not at the same time. So that's going to be another win. That'll put us at about the halfway point now, I believe, because I think we're at 7 wins, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I believe 7 wins, and we're going to 15. So let's see if we can go undefeated. That'd be pretty cool. So here we go against Ethan here. I guess we could probably just go ahead and split our archers, and he's going to go recruits. So both of us starting with our evolution first play. I mean, after all, this is Clash Royale 2024 now. That's kind of what most people do. So recruits, and he's got the Firecracker and the Hog. We'll just do that, and then probably go for a NATO. And I missed the NATO, so that's great. Fantastic stuff over there. I don't know how that even happened. I actually think the Hog got bumped because I don't think I necessarily played it in the wrong position. It was more so just it got moved to the side, but still it wasn't something it was something that could have been avoided, I guess, nonetheless. But alright, I don't know. Hopefully this guy doesn't have a really good answer to the E-Giant. If he doesn't, we definitely can still... Alright, well, he's got a bomb tower, so that's not really good. I'm just going to pre-place a cannon here. His next set of recruits are going to be evolved, which isn't great. I don't know, though, why he played them that aggressively at the bridge. I'll probably just go for a knight here. Maybe he's going to go for a hog again, expecting me to have a hard time defending it, considering I missed the NATO. So I wouldn't be surprised if he sent one in, but he decided not to, so... I'm just going to go for an E-Giant here and see what he wants to do. Firecracker and E-Drag. That's interesting that he has the E-Drag. It's a good lightning. I'm actually glad that didn't hit the Firecracker. Maybe try to get the King activated off this. I actually think I'm definitely going to want to, just because it's going to help us out a lot, a King activation. I definitely think I need it. Now, his next Firecracker is going to be evolved. We know that, so we're going to have to be prepared. I think, you know, if he doesn't have any big spell, this should be, I think, a pretty easy situation for us. As weird as it sounds, because, obviously, alright, well, he kind of has one. Kinda. I mean, a Fireball is kind of a medium spell, I'd say, but still, I guess, alright. So let's see. He goes in for his Evolved Firecracker, and he kind of had to overcommit a ton there, so that's pretty good for me. We're just going to do this, and then let's get a cannon going, and that was defended pretty well, I have to say. So let's see what he wants to do here. We're going to go for archers, and he's going to go recruits, which is not the greatest answer in the world to the E-Giant. I'm going to go for another E-Giant, why not? Let's just throw it at him, because obviously... things are getting a little annoying for him. He's going to go for the E-Drag. We're going to Lightning it, and this should probably be, I want to say, good game, or get pretty... He's probably going to go Lumberjack, if I had to guess. Yeah, there it is. Because the reason I expected that was because that was kind of his best... Really, his only counter possible in that situation. So we're going to go for the NATO here, and from there, all I need is the Lightning, which should do enough. I am going to double check, though. It is going to do enough. There's no way for him to lightning block. Even if he did, well, he wouldn't have been able to get the recruits down because he didn't have the elixir. So that's why I immediately played the lightning after he went in for that hog. But I wanted to double check to make sure the lightning did enough, which of course it does. I don't even know why I had to check anyway. But here we go. So this guy's got a Grand Challenge badge, which means he's a pretty good player. So let's just go for our split archers in the back. That should be a nice way to start things off here. And he's going to do the same. So... he's a man of culture as well. Let's see what he has with them. We have yet to play against another person running E-Giant, actually. And he's got the bowler. So we're going to go knight in the opposite lane. And probably our best bet in terms of defending the bowler is likely going to be our Little Prince or cannon. So let's go Little Prince here. And he's gonna... Okay, so I'm thinking he's running Giant Graveyard. So I'm actually gonna go for my E-Giant here. And he's gonna go for the Little Prince. So he's likely gonna have the ability come in. But even with that, it's not the best counter in the world, I guess you could say. Like, we're still gonna deal damage and the Little Prince dies. I'm gonna pop the ability here. And we'll see what he does. He's gonna Snowball. It hit absolutely nothing. And Little Prince is on top of the tower, and he is not too happy. So, this is quite a good start, I would say. We're just going to cycle our archers and go for a Barbarrel on this. Might have been better, actually, to have the archers high up to take out the bowler, but I don't know. My cycle was weird anyway, and I was going to have to play something regardless. So we're going to go for a knight here. He's not going to have the bowler, so he might actually, yeah, I was going to say, go for his Little Prince. So that's completely fine with me. We're going to go ahead and play our own here. And then what I might actually do is go E-Giant, especially if his only chance of not having that happen is if he goes in. But even if he does, this is actually still a very good situation for me, because we're going to get our Evo Archers going. And his Evo Archers partly went to waste there, because one is in the other lane doing absolutely nothing. We're going to get a Barbarrel going, and let's try to go in here. We actually have our Little Prince ability, which we're able to use as well. Bowler, though, is going to... Oh, well, that NATO came in time, so that's pretty cool. That's a lot of... Yeah, that's actually really nice. That's great. It's a lot of damage that Guardian just got there. So he is going to get a Giant going, and obviously this time around he is going to go for his Graveyard, as expected. Our Guardian is going to help out a lot, though, here, cleaning up all those Skellies, and we probably want to NATO that Giant backwards. And now at this point, all we really need is a couple Lightnings, and we should be able to finish this one off. The Bowler is going to be pretty annoying, though, but let's see. We're going to get a cannon set up here. And let's see. So, yeah, he's going to go for his Giant. Let's get a Little Prince going, and... Alright, that's all going to die, so that's great. Now, at this point, we probably want a Lightning Cycle. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Lightning that. I just think it's the best thing to do. And we should be able to defend this. Like, I'm pretty positive we can. It might get a little annoying, but Barbarrel there at the best possible timing. And now... just clean up with the Lightning. That got a little close, but we got it. We're fine. So that was a nice win. Yeah, that got a little scary. The Graveyard, I swear, gets way more damage sometimes than you anticipate. Like, I expected that to get, I don't know, not as much as that. Okay, so we seem to be playing against better and better people as this is going on here. Because this guy's got a top 300 ladder finish, and he also had a global tournament badge as well. So we're just going to start with archers. He's going to go for goblins. So that's indicating it's probably a cycle deck, unless he's running maybe RG Goblins or something along those lines. And he's got the... Okay, Monk. So let's just go E-Giant, same lane as the Monk. Monk and Evo Bats. So far, interesting combination. RG, wow, that is very interesting. Go for our Little Prince here. That is a lot of damage. I was really scared of playing my cannon, though, because obviously, oh, he's just going to go goblins. That sucks, actually. Yeah, I didn't want to play my cannon because the Monk was there, so that's actually a little unlucky, I have to say. I don't think this is that bad of a matchup, but... it just was not a good start whatsoever, that's for sure. Kind of a bit unlucky, but also, I don't know. I could have maybe defended a little better. It's kind of hard to say, I guess, for sure. Now that I did not expect him to do. In that scenario, it might have actually been better to... Well, on the plus side, he kind of messed up quite a lot there on defense. That was actually pretty bad defense. So we are going to get the tower, and those goblins are actually going to go to complete waste. So I actually think he kind of done goofed a bit, and we can keep up the pressure here and go in for a E-Giant. Alright, well that monk didn't accomplish anything, so he's kind of throwing, low-key. He was off to a fantastic start, but he really screwed up there. And actually the biggest problem for him is that RG isn't even evolved, which means this RG is really easy to defend without the health boost. So I'm really liking our situation right now. That's a lightning for us. We can hit the RG, the tower, and the fisherman, which are kind of the main things in that scenario that are important to hit. And this is kind of looking more and more, yeah, he knows it too, like it's going to be GG. I just missed the NATO on the RG. That's fantastic. So I've made some mistakes this game, but luckily it didn't matter all that much. He could lightning block, so that's why I'm holding off on going for a lightning right now. It makes sense just to... Yep, there we go. I was going to say just get back to a NATO just in case, because he's got the bats and the goblins, which he could have used to lightning block, and when I know I'm going to defend anyway, it doesn't hurt to be patient and wait a bit. So we're 10-0 now. We managed to beat pretty much every good player we've come across so far, which is pretty nice. Combination of, you know, having a decent matchup against them and also playing well. Of course, I don't have my NATO in cycle for his Hog Rider. That's always a bummer, but Cannon will do, I suppose, as well. Just no King activation, sadly. So, Hog already likely means it's a decent matchup, and along with him having Inferno Drag, it's looking even better now, because E-Giant generally is going to do very good against Inferno Drag decks. There are some exceptions, but generally it's going to be good against it. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm leaking a bit, but I'm going to go E-Giant, and we'll see what he wants to do. So, he's going to go for the bats, and let's NATO that in, actually, those archers. He got Mega Knight. Kind of had a feeling he did. I don't know why, but just kind of makes sense in a way. So I think what I'm going to do is go Archers, Knight, and from there we'll see how he responds. Okay, we can go for a cannon here. Not in the most optimal position, but because I have the Archers down, it's not going to really matter, and the Hog is still not going to get any damage. And this is looking like it's going to be a very easy matchup, especially as this match gets into double and of course triple elixir. It just looks like it's going to be very, very easy, because I just don't see how he's going to be able to break through what I'm using with his deck. I just don't see it happening. I could be proven wrong. In fact, I wouldn't even mind losing to it, just because I kind of would like to see how he manages to win in this type of matchup. Anyway, let's go for an E-Giant here. I could NATO that in, but let's see what he drops, because we want to get the most valuable NATO as I possibly can. So he's going to go for the Archers. So let's, yeah, try to get a nice NATOing everything in the front. And then we can actually get our Evo Knight down to distract his Mega Knight. Kind of sucks it didn't cross over the bridge, so the tower's not going to help against it, but it's really not going to matter all that much. I mean, look at his tower. It's going to go down to the E-Giant. Nothing he can really do about it. That's kind of what I was talking about. Like, he just can't really defend. It's just such an easy matchup. We're going to Lightning this. Unless he drops something else, it's going to hit the Archer and the tower. And this is it's going to be GG. We can NATO those Evo Bats before they end up doing anything, and it's pretty much hopeless for him at this point. So, I guess we'll go Knight here. Maybe we go for the 2 crown, just because why not at this point? Might as well go for it. Looks like he's going to defend, though. Try to save his dignity. I respect that. NATO that in. And that is going to be GG. Very, very easy matchup. As I said, that's kind of one that's pretty much impossible to lose. You'd have to make heck of a lot of mistakes to lose something like that. Let's just put it that way. And that is going to put us at 11-0 now. So really making good progress at this point. 4 wins away from reaching our goals. So let's see if I can get it undefeated. That would be awesome, of course. So we're going to split our Archers, and he's going to go Hog. So another Hog deck. Really happy to see that. And even with those Archers, that's still going to be a King activation. They don't do enough DPS to take enough health away from the Hog. So that's really, really good. That's just a great interaction to have going for you when you're the one using Archers and NATO. I think I can ignore those goblins, especially with the king activation. And yeah, very, very good start to this match, actually. We are going to go Bar Barrel on that Firecracker, really obnoxious. It's going to get chip damage, but I'm okay with that. Let's actually get an E-Giant going, just because we do have the... Ooh, that's unfortunate. The Inferno is going to wipe it all out. But, oh, I actually didn't even know that was going to happen. Well, we had the little Prince lock on, so we got some chip damage. Now, here's the thing, though. That's actually not a bad thing he's got the Inferno. Because if anything, that's better than him having the Bomb Tower, because my Lightning gets more value against the Inferno than it does against the Bomb Tower. Because it's only a -1 trade as opposed to -2 trade. And it resets it as well. So, honestly, if anything, I'm happy he's got the Inferno. It probably is better than him having the Bomb Tower, if I really do think about it. Excuse me, I just burped, kind of. But, anyway. Let's just go a little Prince here. I'm not going to waste a Bar Barrel on that if I can avoid it. And let's go ahead and E-Giant. Maybe I should have went Bar Barrel on that Firecracker, but it's okay. It's going in the opposite lane anyway. Do got to watch out for this, though. Luckily, that Hog did walk in front. That's actually very helpful. Now, that is a bit of a problem. Yeah, that actually is quite a problem, I have to say. That just happened. It's okay, but that wasn't what I wanted. Now that, I can say for a fact, was a really bad push by him. Now we won. I'm very positive we won this game after that. Because he really just kind of overcommitted. We're going to get a good Lightning. That died. Well, maybe Win was a bit too strong, but almost take back the lead. I just realized this guy doesn't have an Earthquake, which means our cannons are going to be absolutely broken in this matchup. I just realized he doesn't have an Earthquake, so our cannons are going to be very important. Very, very important in this matchup. Oh, he made a mistake there. That got some chip damage. Okay. Yeah, so I don't even need to go NATOs. I can go cannons. That's going to be a nice Lightning. Oh, he tried to get away without using his Inferno defending that. Could be a costly mistake, and he actually has to use the Inferno anyway, which now basically just cost him the game, because now at this point, there's no way he's going to be able to defend. He's not anywhere near his Inferno. We can NATO that in, the Firecracker, and if that just gets a little bit of damage, it's going to be lightning range, and we do, in fact, get that damage we needed. So that is going to be a nice win for us. He's yawning. I don't blame him. I really think that's the very, very challenging matchup for him, especially because he doesn't even have an Earthquake. I'm surprised. I realized that because he had the delivery as well as the log, he, I guess he decided to have delivery instead of the Earthquake, which I don't think is smart, especially because he's got the Inferno. So it doesn't, in my mind, make sense to use the delivery when you're using Inferno. It would make more sense if you're using maybe the cannon or the bomb tower because you're lacking the air defense, but you don't need to have the delivery. You really just don't need it. So this guy already screwed up. He gave me a free king activation. You definitely don't want to start the game off going Firecracker at the bridge first play, I'll tell you that. Okay, I messed up my NATO, though. That's okay, though, but yeah, still, very happy he chose to do that. It's a nice lightning for me. He might be able to, yeah, he is going to cycle back to a bomb tower. So, maybe the lightning wasn't actually the greatest in the world, just because he still was able to defend anyway, and I unfortunately don't have my E-Giant back in cycle, but I think I'm overall okay with the matchup and the situation, so I'm not going to complain too much. Let's see what he wants to do here. He might just cycle a spell or something. Yep. Predicted that. We'll go Knight here. Our next one will be Evolved, and he's going to have the Evolved Knight as well, so let's see what he chooses to do here. Alright, well, let's get our little Prince down, and go from there. Alright, I'm just going to go for probably a E-Giant, and I'm going to need to Bar Barrel this. I don't know if he's going to protect it. No, he didn't. If he did, that would have been a pretty big problem, so I'm glad he wasn't able to. And then the archers might be able to snipe his bomb tower, depending on where he plays it. Yep, they are going to be able to, so that's really good. He's going to wipe the bomb tower right off the map. He's got the E-Giant to deal with, but here's the really nice thing. He still has, look at the left lane. He's got to deal with all that. Oh, he's got the delivery. That's kind of a shame he has delivery. I didn't know he... that means he doesn't have Earthquake. It's just like the last guy. Wait, what the heck? We're against 2 people in a row using delivery. Oh, but this guy's got the Earthquake too. Oh, wow. So that means he doesn't have Goblins. Yeah, I honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the Hog deck this guy's running. I wouldn't recommend it. I think you're just better off using Earthquake and Log and Goblins. That's going to be a way better variation. But that's just good for me. It made it a lot easier. So we'll just cannon here. And this is already over. To be fair, I kind of had a feeling this guy wasn't going to be the best Hog player in the world, especially because he started with Firecracker at the bridge, so that already kind of told me everything I needed to know. But that's going to be another nice win. I forget, are we at 12 wins now, or is it after this 13? I think it's 13 after this, but I guess we'll see in a second. Either way, though, we're getting awfully close to 15 wins, which gets you all the rewards. And yeah, there we go. We just need 2 more, so... If I win the next 2, then we'll be 15-0, which is pretty good, I guess. A pretty nice start. This is just my mini account, too. I haven't started playing this tournament on my main. So we're just going to go Evo Knight immediately to start things off, and he's going to go for an Ice Spirit. So that definitely means it's a cycle deck, and he's got the Firecracker, so it might be Hog again. There's a lot of people running Hog in this, to be fair. See what he does here. I'm going to Lightning that. That's pretty good value. It's pretty much an even trade and getting tower damage when you think about it like that. Oh, I messed up my NATO. I don't know why my NATOs have been off. It's okay, but it would be good to get down so I'm not taking unnecessary damage. This guy might actually be using the proper Hog deck because he's got Goblins and Log, and I'm going to assume that he has an Earthquake. I could be wrong. I have a feeling he's got an Earthquake. I don't know what his building is, though. But the proper building would be Bomb Tower. So if he's got a Bomb Tower, then he's using, yeah, the best Hog variation. He could. I'm just going to go Knight in the other lane. So yeah, Firecracker, Evo Knight, nothing too surprising. It's a really good combination. I think I'm just going to go Little Prince in the back. He might play his Firecracker again soon, which will be evolved, which isn't fun, but I actually think I'm going to Lightning that. It's just really annoying, and I have my NATO available for his Hog anyway, and he still has to deal with the left also, so yeah, I'm just going to go Cannon here, and oh yeah, he got his Ice Spirit down late, so that was really good for us. He kind of messed up there. I actually think he should have waited and went for his Evo Knight and a Hog, but yeah, I mean, that just kind of helped me out a bit, so it's pretty good. I'll just go E-Giant probably. His Evolved Firecracker's out of rotation, so he is kind of in a really messed up cycle right now, actually. He's trying to go in, but I have my Tornado, so I don't think we got to worry all that much. That time I didn't mess up my NATO, and he Earthquaked absolutely nothing. I guess he thought maybe I was going to... Alright, well, let's just go for our Evo. Oh, he's got a Tesla. That is very interesting. I think I just won, because his Tesla kind of just got deleted right when he played it. And Evo Archer's still alive, kind of killing everything. Yeah, it's over. It is so over. Sometimes that's all it takes. Your first set of Evolved Archers just win you the game. I don't even know how much value they got. Someone could maybe count and let me know in the comments, because that was just kind of nuts. Literally, the Evo Archers probably got like 20 elixir value. I mean, they sniped the Tesla, and then they killed the second Tesla he played, and then they locked on, what, the Goblins, the Knight, just, I don't know, it was brutal, though. I almost feel bad. Almost, but, I mean, to be fair, that Hog deck, so if we win this, we get the 15-0. To be fair, that Hog seems pretty busted in this tournament. I mean, everyone's running it, but that's why, hey, I mean, give this deck a try if you want to counter to it, because apparently this does pretty good against it. It's probably not surprising why it does. You got a Lightning for whatever building they have, and then you have a... well, you have a NATO as well, so... I'm going to go E-Giant. It's really aggressive, but I don't think it's that bad of a play. He's got Minor Bowler. That is very odd. I am going to play the ability, because I do want to protect my little prince. And I do not know what this guy is using. I really am very confused. He's got Minor... It's almost like a graveyard deck, but he's got Minor in it. That's almost what it seems like. Maybe he's got a balloon of some sort, because he's got the Minor. So I don't know. I really am a little confused what he's got. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But Balloon would be what I feel like makes the most sense. I'm going to E-Giant here, just because I don't really know what else to cycle. He's going to defend easily, but he's going to have to commit a lot, so I don't mind that. What would surprise me is if this guy has a NATO, because he already has a strange combination. So, I have to say, I don't know what this guy's win condition is. I'm very confused. I really don't know. I'm just going to go for a defensive bar barrel. That should be decent. It might just be a balloon. That's what I'm expecting. We'll find out if that is the case, I guess. Got a lot of chip damage from that. And it is going to be a balloon. So how about that? Let's go for the Knight here. We got our Evolved one. I don't know why he went Bowler like that. The thing is, I still think there's a card he hasn't played yet. So, I don't know what he's... I still don't know his whole deck. It's very strange what he's using. Very strange. It's not bad, necessarily. It's just strange. Maybe play this pretty passively, because, to be fair, it's going to be really difficult for him to break through when I have a building and a NATO. So, I feel like I don't have to worry that much. The main thing is just being patient. I think that balloon was really bad. He might have messed up. Mostly because it's just going to complete waste. I defended it really, really easily. That Minor was also not the best, so I feel like it's only a matter of time at this point. And he actually does have a NATO, okay. So that's his, I guess his last card, I think. I'm going to Lightning the Knight in the Evo Archers instead of the Tower. I think that's way better. This guy's, wow, I mean, he plays this deck well. I can see why he's had a lot of wins with it. Because I think, oh, well, that was a bit lucky. I'm not going to lie. That was lucky. I'll take it, though. That pretty much just clenched us the win. It was already looking good, but that kind of just in a split second won us it. I mean, that was just unlucky. I kind of feel bad after that. But that's going to put us 15-0. He gets the Knight down, try to go for the Lightning block. Luckily, he didn't drop something else like the Archers. Otherwise, he probably would have Lightning blocked, but either way, it probably wouldn't have mattered because I would have been able to defend regardless. But anyway, 15-0, give this deck a try. Really good inside of this tournament.